returns and lowball offers too. Zero takedowns, they're a pain. What can we do? High selling fees, bad buys and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I think ours went pretty well. I went to California. I went to the Angels game on Saturday with my son and good friend Tim, and went to Tim's 60th birthday party the next day. And I was tasked with roasting a friend, a 23-year friend, and I'm like, I've never roasted anyone in my life. Now we've had some stories, but thanks to AI, I didn't think about this until his son came up and said, yeah, we're using AI to roast Dad. And I'm like, oh, really? So they called me up first, and it was kind of awkward, but it did the trick, because I think it wouldn't have worked out if I didn't use AI.
I'm surprised that you didn't have that idea from the jump.
I was just going to go up there and wing it. I mean, there's so many things you can use AI for that we don't even think about. I mean, you could utilize AI in your everyday life, and it's a pretty good segue, actually, into kind of what I want to talk about. According to some of the things that I read, AI is going to take over a good 18 to 20% of jobs worldwide. But I read a report not too long ago. See, these are all estimates. People don't even really know that, we're talking like 60 to 70% of jobs eventually will be replaced by AI. That's not good. And where are these people going to go when AI takes over their jobs? Got a question for you guys out there. How many people right now are reselling because something happened with their full-time job? I mean, I'm one of them. She's one of them. I'm sure many of you guys are one of them. Things happen unexpectedly, and we're like, okay, either there's nothing to go to in your area of expertise that you used to work at, or you just don't want to deal with it anymore. You just don't want to have to go through the interview process. You don't want to commute. You don't want to have to commit your life maybe on a salary to somebody and answer for somebody, and you have another way to make it work, and that's reselling. Now, I say all of this because I do believe that as AI takes over and kicks people out of their jobs, eventually they replace the workforce, that there's going to be a number of people looking to sell as resellers online. I mean, it's how we got here, and it's certainly not out of the question that that's how others are going to get here. But, and I say but, here comes AI again. And don't get me wrong, and I really, this kind of bothered me all weekend. I actually thought about this a lot on my drive there and back to California and back about this issue, and it's weighing heavily on me, if I'm being honest with you. And I don't want to be over dramatic. And this is not a clickbait title that I put out at all. It's something that is going to be a very, very real thing very, very soon, and there is no stopping it, as one person has told me and reminded me. There's no stopping it. There is no stopping it. And I am not look, I'm not a advocate against AI. I use AI every day. But very, very soon, guys, it's going to be to where you can take a photo of, let's say, 100 items, however long it takes you to take a photo of 100 items, and you can have that 100 items listed in minutes. And it's going to be that easy. Other than the pricing, and maybe, I even believe the condition's going to be set for you. It's coming, guys. It's coming very, very soon. Now, I hope you guys are able to pick up on some clues out there. I did check out one of the, I'm not going to say any channel names, but this particular channel creator came out with the video and said, and this is where I wholeheartedly disagree, and I told him that. We actually had a indirect discussion through his channel, but he said that the future of reselling is not the race to the bottom. The future of reselling is to scale. What he's saying is that very, very soon it's going to be the ones who actually scale their business utilizing this technology is going to be the winners, and those who do not are going to be left behind. And I'm not saying for every category, so don't, if you're selling in, certain categories, it may not be affected, but there are many, 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 many categories that have high competition that will certainly be affected. But I do not agree with that principle that there is no race to the bottom. It's just going to be a race to scale, because if you flood a market, what's going to happen? When you flood a market, it causes prices to do what? That's incorrect, man. Down. Prices will go down. And it's the same thing as if you restrict a market, or let's say with the tariffs, for instance, as we thought there was going to be less stuff coming in, we were worried that, okay, prices are only going to go up on those items, right? Now, if you do the opposite and you now have a pile of stuff in your garage that you just didn't have time to list, and now you get them all listed, and you multiply that by, let's say, 25% of all resellers utilize this technology. Well, there's going to be some market flooding going on, and the people who are just part-timers, the people who are just doing it because they enjoy the reselling, you'll still be able to resell. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say you're going to be out, but what's going to happen is it isn't the people who are going to be listing in bulk that are going to try to drive the prices down. It's going to be the people that have no other option to compete, but the folks that are left behind that either don't want to use AI to do all their listing, or B, just don't have enough stock. Because sometimes we have all the tools, we're willing to use them, but we just can't, there's only so many yard sales in a given weekend that you can go to. Maybe that's the only way of sourcing. Maybe you can't buy liquidation. And you're not going to be able to have the stock that some of these other sellers are going to have. And the stuff that you have, maybe it represents a small percentage of the pool of items that are available for sale. But once this flooding happens, it's going to be an even smaller percentage. And how are you going to compete? And that's by pricing, lowering your prices. And that's how a race to the bottom begins. It isn't with the people using this technology. It's the people who can't. And that's the thing. That's the problem with this. And that's what weighs on me. I'm very, and I've spoken to people about this issue. I've spoken to a number of people. Heck, even Kevin, he put out a video, was this morning about it, and I contacted him. We had a nice conversation about our thoughts on this, and I think one thought we share is that with this AI technology that's right around the corner, is people are going to leave, and we're going to have fewer people in the community, and I hate that. I don't do this. We make some money on the channel, like $700 on a good month. It used to be double that a couple years ago. It's gone down a lot. We do it for the community. I got to tell you, I would probably have lost a lot of interest in doing this channel if we didn't have the lives and the people that we've met, and just the fun times that we have with you guys. And it saddens me to know that some people are just going to be like, it's too much. This is too much for me. I can't compete. I can't keep up. The sales are slow as it is. And now you introduce this thing that's going to make it even more impossible. And I don't want to discourage anybody. That's the last thing I want. But at the same time, am I doing you guys a disservice if I just keep these thoughts to myself? And I know I'm disappointing a lot of people out there by talking about my thoughts and feelings about this. Again, do I use AI to speed up my business? Certainly I do. And I don't even know how this is going to affect me. I sell everything. I sell all kinds of stuff. Anything that has a profit, I sell. I don't know what percentage of the things that I'm going to sell are going to be affected by flooded markets. I'd like to think that what I sell takes a lot more than just, whipping it out of a bin and taking photos of something. When I deal with liquidation, I'm dealing with making sure the thing works, cleaning, photos, repacking it back in the factory box, which is, if you've ever sold liquidation, you know that's kind of a pain in the ass to figure that out, how to get everything back in the box. And then in storing it all, that's even before I begin the listing process, which usually for me, the drafts are created. I think I'm pretty maxed out as far as how fast I can get with what the type of items that I sell. But I'm sure that if I had, a niche, and that's probably where the concern is more than anything else, if you're a niche seller where you have, maybe focus on one type of item, and so is your competition, who's going to get it listed faster? And that's kind of where I'm at on this. So I'm really concerned. I'm not saying, the sky's falling. There is an excellent chance that I'm right, but there's a possibility that I'm wrong. And I don't mind saying that, but I think there's a greater chance that I'm hitting the nail right on the head here when I say that things could be, eBay could look a lot different for many resellers than it does right now, and that's not necessarily a good thing. For those who are who have the stock and who have the wherewithal and the desire to utilize these technologies, I'm sure it's going to get really good because you're increasing your market share. You're increasing your ability to make more money at the detriment of others. And it's all competition, guys. This is no different than sellers who use promoted listings than those who don't, who choose not to, and those who get more sales because of it, and those who don't. But I think we've kind of, we're hitting some kind of a point here where now we thought promoted listings was changing the game, which it has. This is going to change it even more, and I can't underscore that. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Am I just overreacting here, or what?
I don't really have thoughts on it, actually.
That's the best place to be, actually, not to think about it. But
I haven't. I didn't even know what our topic was. I have nothing to bring to the table at this moment.
So what are you trying to say?
I'm just here.
Just a regular day?
I'm here. I'm
just a normal standard
hungry.
live stream for you. Thanks, honey. Bringing those morsels to the crowd. We love it. So that's what I have, guys, and I'm really sort of feeling kind of it's hard to describe, but I'm apprehensive. I hate to say that, but I just don't like where I see AI going with this platform. And there's probably going to be more to say in the future, but this nonsense of anybody trying to tell you that. And I'm going to be very, very careful here because I'm not trying to upset anyone, but I just feel like it's disingenuous when people say, list, and don't mind the flood. As long as you're on the boat and you're not underneath that flood, then you're good. But everyone else, I don't care. And to me, I care about the community part of it, and I just feel like I don't want to lose any more than we've already had. I mean, it's inevitable. You're going to lose people along the way. But, I mean, like something like this can cause, it really does kind of hit home with me. So I want to know what you guys think. What are your thoughts on this? And, of course, I haven't said a whole lot about what I'm saying because I'm being very, very careful. But just watch. Sometimes people will push an agenda. And And you got to understand why that's being pushed, and if once you put the pieces together, that aha moment will come out, and you're like, that's why they keep talking about this one thing. So let's see who we have now. Looks like Brenda was first today. Brenda Smith. Sadly, I missed the live. The boys have a baseball game, but hopefully you'll be watching the replay. So I guess Keith will take
Good
that
luck
spot.
on the games.
Hi, Keith. How you doing? I'm not surprised by that.
Hi, Keith.
Hope everyone had an awesome weekend. Yep, we did have an awesome. She had an awesome weekend because I wasn't here. That made her weekend.
Really haven't. I wouldn't put it in an awesome bucket.
Keith says, I'm going to the eBay Open 2025 in UK, so any questions anyone wants me to ask, PM me on the Discord. PM me on the Discord. So we're working on the Discord. We're trying to figure out how we're going to do some things. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the platform people don't like. It doesn't cost anything. But we're trying to get more people in the community involved. I mean, I get involved as often as I can. I can't be there all day long throughout the day because I'm working and I've got so many fires that I have to deal with myself. But I will jump in there and participate on the Discord. And I guess that's what we're trying to do. Get more people involved when they have time to get on the Discord, answer questions, ask their own questions, get involved in the discussion, give opinions about things that people are talking about. And one way to do that is maybe we'll have some kind of a contest to get people, like give out like a gift card if, you are not only subscribed to the channel, but a member of the Discord. And again, it doesn't cost to do either of these things if you're, so inclined. But I really do think as a reseller, having resources available at your fingertips, a go-to place if you run into that situation can never hurt. Mike Mecco Meetup says, hi, John and Jenna and FA family. I agree with the premise of the topic. AI is a game changer and will be a powerful tool to help us sell more effectively. That'll apply to all of us, so all of our competitors will have the same advantage. I see this as just another tool for us to use and really no different from previous advances in technology. Whoever uses them will benefit. It's no different than, say, when the smartphone came on the scene. We all had access to this tool. Anyone who used it benefited from it. Apply it early. I agree to most of that, except your ability to use a smartphone had no impact on the number of items you were listing. I mean, I guess. I mean, you had a flip phone versus a smartphone. I mean, really back then, it was all wonky anyway. Most of us were listing online. I know that as one person, I know my limit. If I'm doing it without any kind of special help, I know that, boom. If it's made available and cheap enough to most people will use it. Now, is there anything wrong with that? No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think what happens is it now becomes a race of how many items can you attain. And there's going to be people that are going to be listing garbage. And I was talking to Beard today about it. There's going to be people just listing trash, like listing all kinds of stuff they probably shouldn't even bother listing on eBay because they got it. Let's just list it. Boom. Take a photo of it. Let's get it up. And it's probably worth a couple bucks. They're hurting their ASP. They're hurting their store's conversion rate. But then again, my main concern is the flooding part. The flooding of any market. And look, I have been there and done that. I think I've told you guys a story. I helped a bowling alley, owner of a bowling alley, sell 10 Harley-Davidson pool tables. Okay, we had them all available. They just had to come and pick them up. They were renovating a bowling alley. The first Harley-Davidson pool table, and this is back in like 2006. The first Harley-Davidson pool table sold for little over $10,000, and it had lots of activity. So cool. That person came and picked it up. We listed the other one. The next one sold for about $8,000. Not as much activity. Well, they came and picked it up. Third pool table, like $6,500. Okay, and why? Because there's only so many buyers. So, as an example, this is the other thing. eBay continues to lose buyers. If the number of buyers are scaled in par with the number of items that will be hitting the platform, then yeah, it's business as usual. You have you can continue to add more product because you have more buyers coming, and it's business as usual. But we're going to be finding that we're going to be fighting for the same buyer base with more items. So if you're not able to provide yourself with the flood of inventory that your competition's going to be adding, then you're going to be getting a smaller market share. That makes sense. Biff, what do I get for fourth? Same as first. I hear that Prima's going to send you some copper pans if you're fourth. So congratulations. Mike Mecco says, I'm wondering if supply and demand will be affected. I don't think AI affects the amounts of an item that's available, just the efficiency of getting items to market. All this remains to be seen, though. It's supply and demand. Supply and demand is the driving factor of retail for it's been that way for many years. It's never going to change. I don't care how many people get up on their platform and say, ignore the supply because we're going to create the demand. Now, unless you have a way of driving traffic that eBay hasn't figured out, which is their job, not ours, really. I mean, I guess you can go on and do the things that they want you to do, like go on to Instagram and Facebook and maybe even X and start like really pushing your merchandise out there. But how many sellers are going to do that? My concern, again, eBay was built off the back of smaller sellers who do this part-time, sellers who go to yard sales and buy things. And maybe they don't just buy clothing, but you know what? They do enjoy buying clothing as part of whatever they buy. And now it's going to be a lot harder to sell that clothing because it's just going to be so saturated. So that's what I'm kind of concerned about. And markets, you flood a market. Like I had these video game controller adapters. They would snap on the back of an Xbox or a PlayStation. They would allow you to cheat on a multiplayer game. Like if you hit a button, it would be like turbo style. And people wanted that. They wanted those. This is back in 2019. I had about 200 of those units. I was selling for like, $50 a piece. And when I staggered them, when I put one up at a time and didn't do multi-quantity listings, man, I was killing it, right? But when I put that multi-quantity listing up, or after a while when I started selling them, and I seemed to be like one of the only ones selling them, after a while it's like I lost my market. Everyone had one, but everyone that wanted one had one, and I had to lower prices to get the other one sold. And maybe it had a lot to do with also other competition and other brands and other sellers are putting others out more out there. But it's always supply and demand. You cannot as a reseller, you're never going to demand proof or supply proof your operation. Supply and demand will win every time. And many times you have no idea it's even going on because we're only one drop in the bucket, a very small drop in the bucket. Let me put this on real quick because it's getting kind of warm in here. With this light, it causes it to get kind of warm even with the AC on. So yeah, I want to know what you guys think. I really do. But I really think that it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what some of these bigger YouTubers say. Supply and demand is its own beast, and there's no getting around it. Derek W. Pat says, hello, awesome people. Happy Monday. Nice to see you, Derek. Keith says, I'm using AI to create drafts, and also in the messaging system, it's already started to not be new anymore, but just the new normal for me. Yeah, there's going to be so many programs out there that are going to do things with AI. And look, I got no problem with that. I mean, like I said, I'm using AI, and I think it's a great thing. I think the VA business of virtual assistants that you would hire, that's going to hurt them tremendously. But for me, it's about keeping good people who just want to be part of a community where they can make a few bucks. And I'm not going to sit here and say small sellers aren't going to be able to make money. But if you need a certain amount of money, you got to change your game, and that's the thing. Karen, thanks for the super chat.
Today is Karen's birthday.
Is it?
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Karen. Why are you giving us a super chat when it's your birthday?
Very nice.
How do we give fans a super chat?
I don't know. I wish there was a way.
That'd be better to just give you guys a super chat.
I guess I'm just a little confused as to what's happening. I think that's why I'm perplexed.
There's a lot of people confused about what's happening.
I look perplexed.
Because I can't say a whole lot about... If you're just watching videos, you see the writing on the wall as to what's happening.
So what you might be saying is that because AI is going to be so readily available and making it so easy to list items on eBay, that you're saying that the smaller sellers who have smaller stores...
That do not... Okay, what I'm saying is AI is here.
Yeah.
Okay, AI is here. The
It's
brains of the operations here. What I'm saying is there are programs that are in the works. Now, if you watch these big channels, you'll understand that's what's happening. If you put two and two together, the aha moment is that's why they're pushing that so hard. Okay, so the technology is here. to where, and it's not yet launched, but very, very soon it'll be here, where you could take a photo of a stack. Let's say you have a stack of CDs, okay? Maybe you have them in a box, and they're all lined up to where you could see the name of the artist and the CD, the album name. And you take one photo of the whole box with all the CDs, visible. Do you know AI can make a listing for all of those within minutes? Now, of course, you want to make a photo for each listing, don't get me wrong, but the technology is going to be here to where you just take your normal photos and then upload them to the program, and the program will do everything except for a couple things, but it'll do 90% of the work for you, and your workflow is done. That's it. But instead of saying, okay, I hit my quota for the day, there's going to be people that are going to kick that into into overdrive, and they're going to create a huge store. Now, there's nothing wrong with creating a huge store. There's people like James who do it well. But what I'm saying is, we all will feel the impact of flooded markets, because even if 25% of resellers use these tools and did 5 to 10x the listings that they normally do on a daily basis, that will affect markets in certain categories. That's why I didn't say all of eBay is going to be affected. I just said for some smaller resellers, they are going to feel like it was already tough enough to make a sale, but now I'm up against more listings within my category, and I can't keep up because I don't have the merchandise. I might have access to the tool, but I don't have access to liquidation lots like some of these sellers do. Or I can only hit a yard sale for once every month to pick up everything I want to list for the month. I can't go every weekend, or I don't have the money, or I don't, insert reason here, and it's going to be more difficult for the average mom and pop, again, who have made up the backbone of eBay over the years. Most sellers are mom and pop sellers who don't have that type of operation, let alone storage. If you want to ramp up an operation, the people who can actually do that are going to be the ones that are going to really, really benefit. So is there anything wrong with that? No, there's not. But I just think, if we're talking a few people doing it, then yeah, okay, that's not going to really impact things. But we're talking about 20 to 25%, if not more, resellers embark on this journey like that. It's going to make it tough for the others who don't. That's all I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
I guess it poses more of a conversation when we don't have a camera on us, because I'm not. I mean, I get it. I hear what you're saying, but why are you worried?
I'm not worried. I'm concerned. There's a difference.
Okay, why are you concerned?
I'm concerned because
we don't have enough stuff?
No.
Or we have a small
like
store?
I said, I'm still up in the air about whether or not anything like this is going to affect what we sell. I have a hard time believing any good seller that actually is going to take the time to do the things that need to be done with the type of things with electronics, home goods, home appliances, where you have to do all the steps. You still have to do all those steps. So can you get things listed a little bit faster with AI? Yes, but you can't cheat those steps. So I'm not really worried about or concerned about the categories that we primarily sell in. What I'm concerned about is so far up to this point, eBay has been comprised of large sellers and small sellers. And what happens when most of those sellers wave the white flag and go away? And it's going to affect our community. We're going to lose. You think we've lost people before watching these channels? It's going to affect the communities that we're trying to build. And that's the concern I have. And I think the smaller sellers should know and should have an opportunity in their mind to say, what happens if I wake up one morning and my sales just die? What do I do? And that's why it's very important. If you really love reselling, or this is something you want to do, you've got to find the items that do not have a lot of competition. You have to get out there and be willing to pivot, even if you absolutely love what you sell. Because if it's about selling items you love, then keep doing what you do and just accept the results. But if it's about making money on eBay, then you have to learn to pivot. And I kind of feel like Paul Revere right now. I'm on the horse. I'm yelling. I'm saying, AI is coming. AI is coming. And people are like getting out of bed and they're like, who's this whack job? whatever, I'm going back to bed. And those people are going to find out the hard way when AI does arrive that, I wish I knew. I wish I was able to pivot, and I wish I didn't go out and buy, this particular type of item, because now it's going to be harder to sell. Again, this is just me talking out loud. I know that there's going to be some people who disagree, and that's fine. But I do know that I have supply and demand on my side, and the history of supply and demand, and how it's worked, and how it's always worked in the history of supply and demand, and it's never going to change. So that's the concern that I have.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay.
I guess maybe as we get to what the people are saying, what our family and friends are saying, you're not saying it in a way that is making me understand.
Okay. So you're cheating. See, she's cheating right now. She's looking at the newest comments.
No. I'm not even reading that. I'm just watching to make sure it's going well. I just don't understand the way you're explaining it to me. I mean, I get it, but I don't know why it's concerning.
So
I don't get the one piece of
let me put it this way. Let's say every year you have a family reunion, okay? And something happens. I'm not going to just make something weird up. Let's say you have a family reunion every year, and something in the world happens, and now your two favorite family members just can't make it anymore. Would that kind of... You're still there. You're still thriving. You're still happy to see your other family members. But would it kind of suck that they're no longer there?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about the community. There are smaller sellers who watch this show, and it would really, really suck to see, the emails that I've seen in the past. Look, I can't make this work. I'm going to have to go and get a 9-to-5 or do something else. This isn't making my bills. Thank you for your content, but, we're out of here. I hate those emails. So I don't want to see that. I don't want to wonder, hey, what happened to Picky Ricky? What happened to Picky Ricky? No one can tell me. Pico says, mine wasn't great, but wasn't bad either. Your weekend. Okay. Well, that's better than a bad weekend. We got Kevin Hawthorne.
Hi, Kevin.
Good evening from Lakeland, Florida. And look, I don't want to make this a doom and gloom episode. I don't.
I just don't. I'm just not.
I feel better because I've spoken I got it off my chest.
Something is not clicking for me. I get all of your points, but I'm still wondering why you're concerned.
Okay. Let me give you an example. One final example.
I don't want you to do it anymore.
I'll give you one more example.
I want the people.
We sell a very limited number of very kind of just plain shoes.
I don't know why this is so hard for me today.
Okay, we have maybe 50 pairs of shoes. Okay? If all of a sudden shoes start hitting the market, do you think our shoes are going to sell any faster? Or now there's a lot more shoes than there ever were on the market, and now our shoes are moving a lot slower. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're saying there's going to be more people on the platform doing a half-assed job, and we're over here putting up good things, doing all the things, but we can't keep up.
It's not about half-assed. It's not about half-assed. It's about more.
I need you to talk to our friends. You're
She's treating me like BasketNoodle right now.
You're spinning a wheel that I can't get on.
I mean, am I the only one feeling this way? Okay. So, guys, with the new rollout for eBay to get your sales back up, you got to be listening to those little messages eBay puts at the top of the Seller Hub. Some of them. Now, again, eBay, we've talked about this before. eBay will come out and tell you, hey, why don't you consider using this program? And they'll throw out some number. You'll get 50% more impressions if you use this tool. I don't know. I mean, where do they get that number? Is it for every seller? I can't tell you. So be very careful with what eBay's telling you. Again, it's all about the money. I mean, why put up... There's got to be money involved, right? It's an incentive for them to sell you on things to get you to sign up. And we've seen results on my measly account on how some of these programs work. So it's not for everyone. Keith says, so promoted listings and pay-per-click and advertising that get you sales back up. It's been proven, but comes at a cost. You won't like eBay is officially pay-to-play in UK now. It's officially pay-to-play worldwide.
Yeah, it's been that
It made
way.
its worldwide debut years ago. And then Keith says, without it, you're better off closing your stores and going to do Uber Eats instead.
Oh, hell no.
But there's sellers right now that say, hey, they push back a little bit and say, hey, I make money. I don't need promoted listings. And you have that type of item that yet does not need it. So continue to ride that wave. I really do feel like eBay is constantly looking for ways to make more money for their shareholders, come up with new ideas, and don't be surprised if algorithms are tweaked so that that's no longer the case anymore. Keith then says, reality check, eBay makes more profit from your listings than you do. That's the new cost of doing business on eBay in UK. Hopefully you guys don't get it rolled out there. Germany hates it. Well, if you're referring to the new process where if someone clicks on your item, let's say they do a best match search, they click on the item, like, nah, I don't want this. And then somehow organically, let's say your item is clicked on from somebody else. Well, because someone clicked on that up to 30 days ago, you're paying that promoted listing fee. Nuts as that is. I mean, one has nothing to do with the other, but yet you're being penalized for it. And yes, you're allowed to do diatribes, Keith. It's okay. Good news then. Well, maybe I'm getting some bits together and sorted so that it'll be able to go live. Will be around 2. He's doing a 2 p.m.-ish UK time. Be something like a come list with me type live. Come with me list. Oh, okay. You're doing a live stream.
Wait, I don't even know what time it is where he is.
Well, right
how
now,
do I
consider
figure that out?
it is 8 hours. I think they're 8 hours ahead of us. So 2 p.m. their time will be like 10 p.m., 11 p.m. our time. So it's the role
I
reversal.
just know it's late.
Callie Deb says, hello,
I don't
John,
know
Jen,
why.
and chat.
I'm
How
just
is
so-
everyone doing? I'm doing fine.
I'm very confused.
Should I have just kept? I'm starting to feel like I should have kept my thoughts to myself.
Yeah. Or
Joe Samar-
explain them to me before you go all crazy, because I am so lost. I literally cannot stand myself.
We got Joe Samard with us. Nice to see you. Duncan's with us. Terrific eBay sales. Picked up a few buyers up. The squinting cicadas and burping crickets say hello. Nice to see you. Gail Carlson's with us. Nice to see you, Gail.
Hello, Gail.
Chastity.
Chastity.
Flipping good. Nice to see you.
Beamy.
Beamy. Bill and Midge.
Woo! Here's a clap for John.
Christopher Nutter's with us. Nice to see you.
Hello, Christopher.
And Samantha Hunter, good evening all. Hi, John and Jenna. How are you? Good, yes.
Good.
Good as that I can be. So, as far as if you ask, I will tell you. We have our sales. Our sales are looking quite solid today. 560 on the main, 557 on the secondary. Oh, by the way, and I didn't show you guys this, but as soon as we hit marked as shipped on that one listing, the cancellation problem that I was having, we got a couple sales. So
Only a couple.
only a couple. It wasn't great, but again, I really think that I'm focusing all my energy on the main account, and when I do have time, I'm adding more stuff to the secondary, and the lack of consistency on that account is what's holding me back on that.
Yeah, you have been away from the business quite a bit.
Yeah, the summer slowdown, summer distractions. I'm creating my own summer slowdown.
Your golf.
Yeah.
Your California trip.
Yeah.
More golf.
I mean, I'm not going to miss a friend's 60th birthday. It only comes up once.
I'm not saying
I'm not going to miss tickets behind the Angels dugout. That doesn't happen.
Yeah, but
very
you only
often.
got to go to that because you went to the 60th party.
Well, I don't think one had to do with the other.
Yeah, it did.
I was going to buy my tickets either way. I was going to buy some tickets right on the field if that wasn't available. But my buddy's in the trucking industry, and he can call up vendors, and he can get those tickets free all day long for almost any event. In fact, he's flying out right now to the East Coast. He's going to the U.S. Open golf tournament on his vendor's dime. So here's some numbers. We always do this on the channel to show you that we're not some yahoo that's really not a reseller. We're just trying to do content. We have in the main account. This is the main account, not our only source of income, but this is a major source of the income. $58,598 gross. That's up 3.1% over last year. We are down in the number of items we've sold. Despite that, 10%. 10% down. So we've sold 76 items less than we did last year. And our ASP is up 14.5% from last year. I think last year was somewhere in the $60-something range. So that's why we're able to sell fewer items and make the same, if not a little bit more. I am hopeful, though, that the trend we're seeing this number shrink. I'm hopeful that by the time we're done with summer, that it's now a downward number, that we're losing money as compared to last year. I hope that's not the case. So that's kind of, I don't know what the hell that was. I'm sorry, hit the wrong button. So she's shaking her head like this is easy.
Streaming is dynamic.
It's not it's not difficult.
Let me know who says that on a regular basis. If you know, you know.
Who says that on a regular basis?
Telling you.
I don't know. So
I want to see what the people
So
say.
wait, I could sit here and explain.
Streaming is dynamic.
So I can explain stuff to you, but you can't explain it to me?
No, you gotta wait till somebody says it in the chat.
Wrong. Mike's Diecast says, why do you say eBay will change very soon for small sellers? Hopefully I was able to...
I hope that explained it. Don't make him go into it again.
Keith says, Jen, I love the t-shirt. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose, but ain't worth nothing, but it's free. I'd sing it, but it would ruin your memory of the song. Time to sell collectibles says, hello, FAA, back from vacation.
Yay!
eBay agreed with me when I reported buyer for swapping a damaged in shipment return. Now, when you say they agree with you, did they make you whole? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they agree with you, because what they will do is, if you don't have a history of reporting, hey, this buyer swapped something out, the first time they will usually say, as a one-time courtesy, we'll go ahead and let you keep your money. We'll just refund the buyer. The buyer's almost always refunded, though, and it's usually out for eBay's pocket or our collective pockets from our fees. Andre Squaw says, howdy, John, Jen, and FAE chat. Good thing I am subscribed, so I got the notification.
Yay!
Awesome. We're glad you subscribed.
Yeah.
Hit the subscribe button.
I'm glad you're here.
Yes. Jackie Bleckner says, hi, all. Nice to see you.
Hello, Jackie.
Thomas Sarney, is that a Craigslist Hunter shirt? No, we have. I have a bird like this and a cat, and I just decided that I was going to make a T-shirt.
And neither of us are ever going to have such an animal.
Well, my son has a cat that looks just like that.
He has way more cats than just one.
And what's weird is, so I'm over their house. Now, I have the best son in the world in that I go to his house, and he's like, they don't have like an extra like room, because they got kids and stuff. They don't have an extra room. So they're like, you're sleeping in our bed. We're going to get everything all fancied up. We're going to sleep on the couch or whatever while you're here. That's just, they will not take no for an answer on that. So they have this cat. It looks like this one here.
No, that's a bird.
No, well, I know, but I'm trying to get past this thing here. Okay, this cat, not as fluffy though, and it only stays in that room. It will not leave the room because they have a couple other cats that don't like it. So in the middle of the night, all I hear is like water, and I'm like, who the hell is pissing right now? And I couldn't figure it out, but I was still too tired. I'm like, okay, I'm not even worried about it. This is kind of creepy. But then I figured they had like this water trough thing that goes on when the cat goes in the night to drink. Mm-hmm. And it freaked me out because I didn't know there was a cat in that room all night.
That's what happened last time we were there.
Yeah, but it's a Craigslist t-shirt, Craigslist Hunter. Thanks to Pete. He was kind enough to send me one of his shirts. He is the GOAT. So if you're watching, Pete, hello. Biff Buffo.
It reminds me of my parrot when I was a kid.
Biff Buffo says, when the bug closed restaurants in 2020, I just turned part-time to full-time. AI won't replace fine dining chefs, but most fast food workers will be replaced in our lifetime. Yep.
Yeah.
There is technology out there where at some point you're not going to have chefs flipping burgers at burger stands. It's going to be done with machines. I think they have that going right now in some chains, but it's going to save benefits. Machines don't call off work. Machines don't get sick. All this stuff. Let's see. BasketNoodle, hello, or I, as like to say. Aye. Yes, aye, sir. Mike Sellers says, greetings from Ranger and Mike.
Hello,
hopefully we'll be
Mike.
around more from now on. Well, nice to see you, darn it.
Yes, I'm so happy you got everything settled with Mom, and
Yes.
it's all going great.
That's good news. That's
Yeah.
really good news. Biff Boffo says, taking a photo of a bookshelf still doesn't provide all the angles that a buyers want to see, such as first edition indicators and all that. Oh, you're right. You're right about that. The onus is still going to be on the seller, but that's where you say, okay, I'm going to take a stack of books and I'm going to do the thing that eBay wants. I'm going to take the 5 or 6 pictures for each book. Going to show that edition, like the first page usually has all that information on there. I'll make sure I include that. And then I'm going to upload it. AI is going to do all the work. It's going to tell you what edition you have. It's going to do all that stuff. Everything's going to be ready for you. It's technology that's coming is going to be quite awesome. But it's also the flips. I'm talking about the flip side of the coin. I think we want to look at, look at the benefits, all the great things that this AI is going to do. But what we don't see is who's going to lose out. You know, the AI in the workforce. Great. It makes people more productive. It makes people more efficient. But there's people right now that are getting their last paycheck because of AI. The Gangland Legacy. Josh and James have an AI listing app coming out that they are partnering with. I had that same idea during pandemic, and then eBay started rolling out magical listers. It'll not be that easy. Well, I don't know anything about that. I do know that others have hinted towards these things, and
I just think there's a lot of room for error when it comes to generating the knowledge that AI is going to need for every single item. I think there's going to have to be somebody that is in there making sure that all of the recommendations are full and that they're correct. Maybe it mistakes something for another thing. I don't know.
AI makes mistakes right now.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I actually had AI do math for me. I don't know what it was that I had it do, but I put some numbers. I gave it some numbers, and I wanted it to calculate something for me, and it added a 0 on one of the numbers. And I'm like, why did you put that number? It's like, oh, sorry for my typo. AI making a typo? That's weird, because you kept mentioning that same number the whole time. It's weird how that works with AI. It's like,
That's creepy.
it is kind of creepy. It's like, is it really? It's almost like human behavior. I mean, machines generally don't make that kind of a typo. I mean, a typo, machine's not typing anything. Daisy says, hello, John and Jenna. Hope you're doing well.
Hi, Daisy. You forgot some people.
Okay, I will get there. You want to be the button master?
I will.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I'm not changing my seat, but I'll take that mouse.
Todd says, LOL, Basket. Nice to see you.
Hello, Todd.
Jovial says, hey, FA fam. Happy Love Your Burial Ground Week, as Paul Rose would say.
Ground.
Like a
No,
Dracula.
like yeah.
Let me suck your blood. Right? Like that? I said blood.
Burial Ground Week. Love Your Burial Ground.
Flipping from the trailer says, hey, everyone. Hope all is well. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Peddling Prophet says, good evening, folks.
Good evening.
And John Doe says, the $4 free shipping guys will take over. I hate, well, you know, it's not, like I said, it's not going to be the people that are using this technology. I mean, maybe they figure, look, I can just grind this. I have two options. Maybe they're like, I can put this stuff on Whatnot, sell it for $4 plus, you know, whatever shipping, or I can do the same thing with eBay and just sell in volume. I hope people aren't going to be using that tool to drive the market down. And I generally don't think it's those people. I think it's those people who are going to be trying to just get more product up at the same price point. But I think the people who can't compete, and the only way you're going to be able to compete due to the sheer volume of merchandise in certain categories is going to be the lowest price. And when that buyer does a lowest plus shipping search refinement, it'll show, oh, here's my item that was buried in page 10. It's now near the top. That's what I think is going to have to happen.
Callie Debs.
I've had to scale my eBay this year.
Hello.
And there's nothing wrong with growing. I mean, look, I'm edging up towards, this is not going to seem like a lot, but if you understand what I'm selling, big items, getting closer to 300 on my main store, and if I can get it up to 500, that means that I'll be, in theory, making more than what I would make with 225, which is what I had last year in my store. Biff Boffo says, if listing gets too easy, people will cherry pick their own garage sales the same way Goodwill does its donations. Luckily, shipping is still a hassle. And that's another point. I'm glad you brought it up. These tools, you think they're going to be just available for eBay sellers? I think if we're talking about organizations like Goodwill, who've already made a presence on eBay, and they've tried their own presence with their own platform, I don't think that worked very well. Like was it Goodwill Auctions or whatever it was, .com or whatever it was. But on eBay still drives traffic. I think they're putting more listings on eBay, and don't be surprised if Goodwill or other organizations get a hold of these kind of tools. They've got endless supply, and they could really be one of the players that could flood markets too. You finding fun stuff on there?
Yeah.
What kind of things are being said?
It's got to be a bot.
Saying what?
It doesn't matter.
I'm not going to ever know.
I'm not going to tell
Biff
you
said,
right now.
See, this is the communication we have.
Shit,
she
man.
won't even tell me what's going on my own show. Biff says, if listing gets too easy, people will cherry pick. I read that. BasketNoodle. Who knows everything AI and resale is speculations. This technology is going to evolve very fast, and it's not all about adoption. It's also about standards and more. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so much. It's the wild, wild west of technology. We really don't know. All we can do is look at the facts. Look at the facts and look at what has happened historically when you mess with supply and demand. It's undefeated. Either you have too little and the prices go up, or you have too much and the prices go down. Bill Wilkinson says AI can be so confidently incorrect. Oh yeah, and then it'll present the information.
You're way too down low. You need to.
Okay.
Your mouse dropped.
Oh, did it? And
yeah.
you see, she's not telling me these things. She's letting me fail.
No, I can't control your finger.
We're gonna come here one day. You guys are gonna tune in one day, and she's gonna be in charge of the mouse and reading it all, and I'm gonna be sitting back here.
I can use the mouse. You can read.
Oh no, I'm not gonna. If you have the mouse in your hand, you are the bubble master, and you have to read the comments as well. Mm-mm. John says eBay will close in a few years. I don't think it will. I think that while eBay hasn't done enough, in my opinion, to increase the buyers that are looking at our items. Okay. You could show
Just
me that after the
remind
show.
me,
Okay.
because I'll forget.
Okay. So eBay needs to do better in getting more buyers to the platform. That will help. That will help, right? So how do we get more buyers to the platform? That's a good question. But I don't think eBay is going to close in a few years. There's too much invested in the product. eBay is in it for the long haul. It just not. That's maybe it's certain people wishing eBay, a demise, but I just don't see it. And I don't wish eBay a demise because that's where we make most of our money. Beamy says, in our area, there is nowhere to buy liquidation. We would have to drive over 100 miles away. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, it may not affect your category the same way it may affects other categories. I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, it's going to just cripple eBay, ruin eBay completely across the board. I think every category is going to be a little different in how it's impacted. And the last thing you really want to be is a small seller in one of those categories. BasketNoodle says, anyone who's been involved in software engineering knows that standards are what tend to evolve or devolve. Yet we have the glitches on eBay. That's all I'll say. BasketNoodle says, you're going to Google or TV remote control mobile mouth app and describe what you want and literally focus on it. Then AI will find the best value price sellers. Yeah, I mean, right now I can go with my remote control and the TV that I just bought about 2 months ago and say, I want to watch Bearded Picker, and it'll take me right to his channel. I don't have to type anything in the search.
I need you to figure out how my TV works that way.
How the TV works?
No,
and
my
how...
remote.
Well, I don't know if it
I would
does.
like to talk to my remote,
Not all TVs have that right now.
but I think it has. We have the same remote
Okay. But you know how I found that out, right?
by accident.
No. I just simply asked about the model number of TV to AI, and it told me exactly how to do it. Derek W. Pat says, keep sharing your ideas and thoughts. I'd like to. I just see, this is the thing that cracks me up. You know, I'm just a guy who sells out of my garage. I'm nobody special, but yet
Yeah, you are.
sometimes I can really piss some people off just for having thoughts and an opinion. And it's like, why are you? I mean, for those who, there's probably about 5 thumbs down by now on this live stream, and it's expected because there's people that will go in and, am I right? It doesn't show.
It won't show that to the audience.
Yeah, but why? Why? I mean, why does my opinion trigger people so badly to leave
It's not just
negativity?
you. It's people in general. Like, not everyone has this, but they don't like to hear the thoughts and opinions of others because they think their way is the only way.
I mean, again, I carefully thought about even talking about this, but it's like, you know, if I'm trying to be transparent and real with my audience, this is something that's been bothering me, and not in a bad way where like, oh no, what am I? I'm going to go get a job now. No, it's not about that. It's concern for others, and it's we've already seen, like I said, people leaving the platform, YouTube, from this small genre of viewers as compared to other, you know, niches.
I feel like it's just another example of how we have to pivot as business owners and resellers. It's a constant evolution of the world around us. I just feel like I don't know where or why I'm sure you'll share with me after we're not on camera what the actual concern, like spell it out in layman's terms, because I'm still not there.
I'm going to have you, unless you want me to repeat myself,
No!
I'm going to have you watch back what I said, because my answer is not going to change.
I need it to be put in
do I need
stupid
to get little
language.
action figures out and like maybe do some kind of like a word play with you? And
No, I need someone else to explain it to me because you're obviously not doing it.
yes, so someone please volunteer to explain to Jenna what the hell I'm talking
In
about.
layman's terms.
Unless I am that unclear and nobody knows what the hell I'm talking
I mean,
about.
I get certain aspects of what you're saying, but I don't understand why you're concerned.
Because I really have an affinity for the community, and I understand that there's many people who watch that aren't full-time resellers, and there's many people who are part of this community that maybe do it part-time that are already having slow sale issues.
Okay.
That this could actually cause them to say, you know what, it's not even worth it anymore.
Okay, so that's where another part of what we've been saying for years and years is that if you want to continue reselling, you've got to pivot.
Well, the other part of
You've got to learn how to be okay with change.
Right, and the other part of the message is when these tools come out, you have to be, okay, I don't want to say that either because people are going to be like, don't tell me what to do with my business. What I'm saying is you need to really consider utilizing these tools when they come out because, again, if you don't, you're going to be left behind. And
it's kind of like learning how to use a smartphone. Prime example, John's father, before he passed away, had a love-hate relationship with his smartphone. He would get so pissed off and frustrated, and we would have to do things on his phone for him because he couldn't figure it out. Well, you're going to have to figure it out.
Is this after he crashed into our garage?
This is all during that, before and after.
Okay.
You're going to have to make adjustments to your business, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
It's just the beast of the reality of the world we live in.
Right.
It's not rocket science. You can still do what you're doing, but you're going to have to either branch out into another niche or add that to your already existing.
Yeah.
I don't understand the concern. Sure, people are going to drop off, but also, I'm concerned that people are going to also have a loved one die and they're going to have to not resell anymore. So I don't think that this is the end of the world, and I don't want it to be.
No. And again, I'm not losing sleep. I'm not
Well,
freaking
you said
out.
it kept you up at night, so that's why I'm like, wait, what?
Did I say that? I said it was weighing. No, I said it was weighing on me this weekend. Are you making? You're like AI right now. She's AI. She is my AI bot. She's making shit up. I said that it's been weighing on me all weekend. I watched a couple of these videos from this creator.
I need to know who the creator is when we're done.
Okay. I mean, we're doing a lot of secret talking after the show, I guess.
No.
But but the thing is, I saw a lot of these videos, and I'm like, okay, the writing's on the wall. You might as well just say what you're doing, because it's obvious to me what's going on, and this is what's going to happen as a result. And you can't tell the audience that supply and demand doesn't work the way it always has worked, because you're saying it shouldn't work that way, or you don't want it to work that way.
Well, just because something is not working the way that you want it or in your favor doesn't mean that it's not real, or that it's not been going on for years and years and decades and decades.
Supply and demand is a concept you're never going to change.
You're never going to get rid of that.
So that's.
So then I still.
Okay. Well, again.
Okay.
We're going in circles over there. I'll get the action figures out after the show, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So, with that said, again, I want to make it clear.
Maybe it's because I haven't eaten today.
I want to make it
I
clear.
have nothing to eat.
We need to be in the business of making stuff work. These, a lot of times I get on here and people are like, why are you complaining and whining about this? Or why are you getting up here and complaining? I complain about nothing. I'm telling you guys, this is a concern I have. And it should be something that should be on everyone's radar. And it's either you're going to utilize this technology in the future, or you're going to be left behind. And
yes.
I don't want to see anyone left behind.
Which is exactly what I told your father when he got a smartphone and started to utilize it and then get confused and pissed off because he didn't know what he was doing. You've got to learn these things, just like my son tells me all the time. Mom, you're going to have to figure it out. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
When it comes to computers, and that's what you tell me all the time.
Yeah.
You're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah. And there's
People are gonna have
and
to
it's
figure
now
it out.
easier than ever to figure things out, guys. I can tell you right now, if you presented me with a problem, how do you make this thing function or work? All I got to do is go to AI and say, okay, I got this thing. Give me a step-by-step, like I'm 5 years old, on how to do this thing with whatever I have here, and it will do it. And it'll explain it to me literally like I'm 5 years old. There's no excuse anymore. The technology and the information is at our fingertips. Mm-hmm. We should be able to figure almost everything out now. And that's the scary thing. There's so much information out there. Thrift Shop Hustler says, hey, John and Jenna, another Monday. Here we go.
Hey.
BasketNoodle 3D tech is going to evolve near side by side, I predict. I mean, look, I think that in the next 5 years, you're going to be able to go to AI and say, I got this concept for a cool video game I'd like to play on my PC. Create a video game that does X, Y, and Z, and it will give you the coding, or it'll create one through other software. You can't just go to Grok and do it, but there will be software out there that will allow you to code what game you'd like to see, and it'll put it together, something like it. I mean, of course, you're going to have, trademarks and things like that. They're not going to be able to violate. But aside from that, it'll do something like that. Landshark Picker is with us. BasketNoodle, truly interactive online shopping. Let's see. Thrift Shop Hustler says, hey, Landshark. And then Samantha Hunter says, John, I'm not going to like the using of AI at first because I will try it, but I feel forced, not ready. But you were very instrumental in helping me with eBay managed payments. All was fine. And there was a lot of people who were up in arms. I was one of the ones that said, look, guys, back in 2019, eBay invited me to get on managed payments before the majority of the other sellers. I said, well, heck, I'm going to jump on this. I want to see what's going on. And I was a little apprehensive because I did like the idea of all my funds building up in PayPal and being able to just send it over to my bank whenever I wanted to. That was kind of cool. I liked it. I got used to it. But then managed payments came, and even in the trial period, there was nothing. It was a nothing burger. And people, I would make videos about managed payments, and you should see the comments these people had. Like, this is the end of eBay. eBay's not a bank. eBay's going to screw it all up. They're messing with our money. And how many videos have you seen where it's like, eBay's not paying me? eBay hasn't paid me, or they screwed up on my deposit. I only got half of my money. You don't see that because it doesn't happen. So there's, I think a lot of times we can kind of, it's called monsters under our bed syndrome. It's the poker term, kind of, where, people are like, oh, they're going to beat me in the hand when you have the best hand.
Yeah.
It's the same concept, like, oh, I'm worried about this. It's going to cause me to whatever. And I don't want you guys to think that, the sky's falling because of this video. It's not. It's just one reseller with an opinion and bringing it to you guys like I always do and say, this is what I think is more than likely going to happen. And as sellers, we all have a different experience, a different situation, and we're all going to have to figure out how to utilize this technology. But the thing is, the common theme is, there's no running from it. It's not anything we're going to be able to toggle on and off.
It's not going away.
Right.
So it's, what, I can't put into words.
It's only going to get more intense.
Yes. So you're basically, the day and age of I can't seem to get the words right.
In 2 years from now, we're going to be talking about something else going,
right.
What the hell?
The
There's
world
no way.
around us is constantly evolving.
Right.
And it's going to, spit out new things that are coming down the pike. And we're like, oh, God, I don't want to have to do that.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to. You're going to have to learn and figure out how it works within your business yourself. Right?
Yes, but can I tell you something? We're
No.
almost an hour behind.
I'm not surprised, and I'll take the blame on that.
I don't
But-
mind going over if our mailman comes to pick up the packages
Well, that's
we've
what
left
I'm
outside.
saying. I need to go check.
We've left them outside so that she doesn't get interrupted, but yet she's causing the interruption that she's going right now.
You know
so.
what?
Okay, so back to the comments. BasketNoodle says, not about how to list, but instead how it changes that customer buy. Karen Bear says, I made it today. Hi, John and Jenna. Just got off my other job. Going to watch you today on my birthday. Well, again, happy birthday to you. That's awesome. You could be doing so many other things than watching our channel, but yet you're spending it with us. So thank you. Keith says, Paul, yes, live YouTube. I can switch time. We need not to be stepping on toes. Yeah, we'd like to see your show. That'd be awesome. Daisy says, okay, question. What should I do if my order was delivered and buyer confirmed, but tracking shows undelivered and eBay holding my funds? I'm still too new to know what to do. Now, that's interesting. So you're saying the buyer got the item. They sent you a message saying, thank you for a fast shipment. We got it. It's great. I would see. Now, maybe I'm wrong here, you guys. If you guys know the answer, please put it down below if you haven't already done so. There should be a button the buyer can go and click that shows marked as received, just like we do when we get our return that maybe isn't scanned, but we have it, and mark it as received. And you're dealing with your funds, I would say give it till tomorrow. If it doesn't show up as delivered, then contact eBay and have them reference the message, and they'll release your money. I'm not sure how much money it is. If it's a big ticket item, you probably want that money ASAP. So that's what I would say to do. Copper Cat's with us. Nice to see you. And Bear's with us. Good morning, J&J, and how everyone doing? Nice to see you. Samantha says, part 2. So I'll see, but I'm the smaller Nova seller. I feel this is my writing on the wall. I will stay positive, but I need to make money, a living to survive. And that's it. Exactly it. So if the goal is, how do I make eBay work, it shouldn't be about a product. Okay, so there's two different types of sellers. One that's, look, I enjoy selling this thing. let's say you're a clothing seller. I enjoy selling clothing, and look, I just don't want to sell anything else. I don't have a desire, but I don't need the money. Well, then keep doing what you're doing. Okay, just know that if you have a question, hey, in a few months from now, why are my sales slower? Well, this is probably what's going on. That way, you're okay with it. Just keep selling what you're selling. But if you're like Samantha, like I got to make money, well, then it's time to pivot away from categories that are going to have too many items. BasketNoodle says, upset me, please, I'm bored. Joe John says, act fast, eBay will probably close in a few years. I don't think so.
No.
They've got too much invested. There's just too much going on. They're making money for their shareholders, so there's no reason for them to close. Again, it doesn't matter about our experience. It doesn't matter about the buyer experience, the seller experience. It's all about the shareholders' experience. And if you're looking at it from a shareholder's perspective, they're having a great experience. So they're never going to close until, something crazy happens on that end. Biff says, I want the casual seller to suffer. I know that sounds cold, but there aren't as many seats at the table as people say. I see niches die from market flooding. I want barriers. Selfishly, yeah. Look, if I had to choose, if I was given the option, look, you can either keep your eBay community thriving and growing and all that, or you then will lose your own eBay business. Which one would you rather have? Selfishly, it's like, no, this is what pays my bills. I need the eBay business. So if I had to walk away from YouTube because of that, then I would. I don't see an option like that coming across, but I think you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Our bottom line should be our priority. And if that means that, hey, the fittest will survive, the better sellers who have better access to inventory, that have the actual tools to make it work, are the only ones to survive. I'm not going to hate on those people. Those people have every right to do what's best for them or their family and make that situation work. What I'm saying is, I don't want you guys to be surprised when it does happen that way. I want you guys to know that it's coming, and to start having your head on a swivel and trying to figure out where to pivot when you see that happen to your category.
I just feel like Silver Hair Stacker Todd has said it best.
I see AI the same way as I saw changes in the 1980s when everyone was learning personal computing. It will be okay, no big deal.
Thank you.
See, this is the thing. I was also thinking about this, and change is constant. Change generally isn't overnight. Bam, things are different.
And it's never comfortable.
But generally, change is gradual. So in 1980, okay, they came out with a computer, but you probably didn't buy one until 1990. I don't know, Todd. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you did buy a Tandy or Commodore 64. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, you didn't see a change that you needed to adapt to probably 5 or 10 years after the first computer even hit the market. With AI, it's a lot different. We weren't even talking about AI 2 years ago, okay? The things in the past that you've seen change have changed gradually. With AI, it's going to be so fast, it's going to make your head spin. And if you're not ready for it, then you're going to be, what the hell just hit me? You're not going to be ready for it. And that's why I like to have these conversations, so at least we can have it in the back of our mind that, oh, this is a possibility. Am I 100% right? No, I'm not 100% right. I like to think that I'm right a lot, but I'm telling you, this is just one opinion that I am sharing. And I got to tell you, my opinion isn't my own. I've actually spoken to some influencers over the phone who feel, with some iterations, a little differently about certain aspects of it, but feel somewhat the same way I feel about a lot of this technology that's coming.
I just feel like the technology is already here. It's just going to get bigger and do more, and it's going to advance in ways that could be positive or negative.
To be both.
It is going to be positive or negative depending on what it's doing. I also am scared of AI because it's going to be doing things like robots and work doing surgery on people. Like, it's going to be, if maybe not in my lifetime, but maybe towards the end of my life.
You already know that MRIs are already being read by AI, and you're being diagnosed for diseases based on your blood test is being evaluated through AI. Things are, I mean, that's unheard of 5 years ago.
Right, but it's already here.
Yes.
So I guess the advice is to get comfortable with it, get knowledgeable with it, start learning all the things that are going on around you, because you can't live in.
I take it a step further. I'd embrace it. Embrace it.
Right. That's what I'm saying, is you need to embrace it, because these things are happening whether you like it or not.
It's one of those things you really don't fight it. Don't fight it, because all you're doing is you're fighting an uphill battle.
Right.
The folks that adapt faster to AI are going to be the ones that are going to win in the long run.
Yes.
It is no different than saying, okay, well then I'm not going to resell anymore because I can't use PayPal. BasketNoodle says, me thinks me right, and me usually right even when me not want be right. Steven says it's going to be a volume game down the road. It may turn out that way. Mm-hmm. It may turn out that way. And so again, I'm not saying to don't use these programs that are coming. I just want you to understand what the game's going to look like as a result of these programs. And there's no stopping it. There's no stopping it. Big Dre says, as part-time seller, I've always priced lower than competitors, and listing with AI will be available to both full-time, part-time sellers, so listing will be easier and faster for everyone. I agree, Big Dre, but the concept of race to the bottom, right? That used to be just really an Amazon term, because everyone on Amazon, for the most part, was sharing the same listing. So if you had this item, if I had this remote control on Amazon, and I had a batch of these I came across, I would simply just go on to Amazon and send them in, and I would price my batch of items. And generally, I'd see, okay, well, where is this selling for this seller? Okay, they're selling it for $10. I'll sell mine for $9. And then someone comes across another batch of these behind me and sees that I'm the lowest, and I have what is called the buy box. I just dropped the remote. And they're going to sell theirs at $8, so they can get the buy box. And it's a constant shift downward in price. So much inventory, people get desperate to sell at lower prices. And then you are seeing, wow, I used to be able to say I could give a discount on my items, but I can't go that low. Yeah. And so now how you feel about the discounts that you're giving out? It could get to a place where people are so desperate just to move the inventory that they have, the prices are going to be just crazy low. Thrift Shop Hustler says, I've been on eBay for over 30 years, and you just need to pivot and go with the flow. Yes, mm-hmm. Yes. Daniel Oberholzer says, does anyone use eBay AI priority listings? I've had pretty good success this spring. It's hit or miss. I had one in the heating and cooling equipment category that increased from $9,000 to $88,000. That's awesome.
Holy cow.
Well, you guys saw that I tried it. I tried their campaign where they were willing to pay for a good chunk of, like, I believe it was like 40 or 50% of the costs to do a priority campaign. And I spent more in my half of the priority campaign than I did in sales. So it didn't work for me in what I was selling. But maybe you found the right category that it's going to work in. Dan DeCordipo, hey guys, just passing through. Nice to see you. Thanks for passing through. Biff Boffo says, I need to clarify. I don't want anyone in the chat to suffer, but we can't have the continued rush to resell that has been ongoing since 2020. Yeah. I agree. Time to Sell Collectibles says, retired and reselling simply to not get rid of stuff. I do use AI to research listing description. I consider myself a part-time seller of vintage collectibles, 12-month sales, 155 items, average sale price 105. How is it going to affect vintage sales? I think probably, heck, and this is coming from someone who doesn't know much about vintage, so I probably shouldn't say anything. I don't think it's going to affect it as much as, say, saturated categories are going to be affected.
That's kind of how I feel.
Bear says, and this thing won't move now. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It's like going crazy. Bear says, eBay problem. I shipped an item. Buyer got it left positive feedback. I left positive feedback, but money's still on hold. Sent eBay a message, no answer. eBay brain is cooked. Contract done. I think they hold it until the business day after it shows the delivery scan. So you could get a positive feedback. You can get a message from the buyer thanking you for a great item, but until that item shows the delivery scan, it won't hit your account until the next day. I believe that's how it works. Lisa Ray says, I had a promotional fee deducted from my balance 39 days after the sale. Why? Promo fees usually happen right away after the sale, so how could this happen?
Didn't we talk about this?
We had somebody, I don't know who it was, but they had retroactive promoted listing fees hit their account.
Is that Callie Dibs?
Not sure. It may have been.
Jovi, was it Rhonda?
No, I'm not sure who it was.
I remember that.
So, yeah, they just didn't deduct it. Now, do we trust eBay enough that that's what's happening? I don't know. I can just tell you that's their story, and they're going to stick to it. Joe, I keep saying John Doe because we have a John Doe that does frequent the show. Joe John says, how much can you sell in the U.S.? Here in Europe, it's 300,000 euros a year. After that, eBay will block your account. That's horrible.
What?
So you can make $1 million on eBay if you have the right product and enough volume to your listings. So there's no cap.
Okay, it was Henri Squaw.
Henri Squaw.
Okay.
Daniel says, AI can help design new products and predict sales, helping to decide when to order more products, so it can also help increase new product quantity available for sale. Yes, but again, it can come up with a perfect game plan. Like if you buy X amount of this and X amount of that, you're going to make this amount. But do you have access to that amount? Do you have access to that inventory? That's the question. Thrift shop hustler. There got to be a market for trash. That's called Mercari. BasketNoodle says, now for Amastone or wall balls, sure AI is going to get them lots more human beings. What the hell? Sorry. Spam Banshee says, aloha. Nice to see you.
Aloha.
Karen says, it's going to be hard working my full-time job and hustle and at eBay for extra if they expect us to have large shops like James.
Yeah.
Some categories you're going to have to really beef up your shops.
Yeah.
I mean James is like the pioneer of large eBay stores. Maybe he knew this was going to happen many years ago, and so he got himself in that gear. I don't know. Samantha Hunter says, Penny, sheesh, nickel now for your thought. Feeling okay, or you just relaxed?
I think she might have been talking about me. No, I was just perplexed. I don't say much when I'm confused. Because
Troy.
The wheels are turning.
Troy Elmer says, hello again.
Hello, Troy.
Nice to see you, Troy. And then BasketNoodle, as he says, everything changes. Mr. Winky has better at 26 and 62. Can't make this stuff up. What the hell? Oh, I think Mr. Winky. I think that's on Primo's.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Biff Buffalo says, when I have several of one SKU, I always roll them out one by one. And as the quantity approaches zero, the price goes up. Yes. And when I add quantity to listings, I kind of feel like, well, if I'm still sitting on this item, it's probably not at the best price point, and I'm adding more to it, maybe I need to bring the price down. And I do bring my prices down as I add more inventory on some stock. BasketNoodle, I would say eBay is going to lose considerable market share as TV, like Roku, Shopping AI, Google Shopping AI, and such take the lead. I mean, they've already lost market share to Whatnot and online live sales on District and other platforms. I think they're a little late to the game, to be honest, with live, when they should have been one of the first ones of the game. But that's just an example. Karen says, you guys are awesome. No, you're awesome, darn it.
You're awesome.
Yeah. Joe John says, now you have to pay eBay if you want them to promote your listings. Yes. Yeah. That is definitely the game now. BasketNoodle is, I'm never confused. Wait, what? Samantha says, John, you mentioned that in the next few years, jobs are going away. How are people supposed to find work or skill to make a living? Most of us have high school diploma, more of a AS degree. I was looking at...
She has a part 2. Hold on right here.
I was looking at this. What is the skill? Watching computers, don't get it. Well, I just did a simple search on, Google. How many jobs are expected to be replaced by AI? These jobs will fall at first. Says AI will likely automate or transform 50 to 60% of jobs with full dominance, 80% and higher, possibly by 2050. Now, I'll be long retired by then, but I think they're being very conservative. What we've seen AI do in just a number of years has been crazy. I'd say within the next... I saw another article. They said it was going to be a lot quicker than that. Like 60 to 70% of jobs are going to be automated, and that means those people are not going to have a job to how is society going to be able to function if everyone's out of work? I mean, not everyone can just become a reseller, right? And not everyone can drive for Uber Eats and all that. Troy Elmer says, competition is good and bad. It's always been that way. More choices, cheaper prices. Yeah. But add a little steroids to this one. Andy Reno says, what is the bottle of blue liquid on your shelf? Oh,
Right there.
That is that is when I just say, forget it, I'm done. I'm going to drink the whole thing on live air. No, it's one of my favorite shows. Anybody know? Anyone seen this man? I'm sure somebody enjoys this show as much as I do. But who is this? Well, she got this. Where did you get it? Like that
I call
alien?
it in the Alien Jerky Plate
Alien
store
Jerky
on the way
Place.
to California. They have this alien store, like everything is alien this and alien that, all because of Area 51. And me and Tyler stopped there on our way to California.
Anybody remember Heisenberg?
Yeah.
Heisenberg from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
BasketNoodle says, yes, listing faster, easier on is a horizon, but the real impactor of AI in sales is on the buyer end. And if we have a decrease in buyers every year, it's only going to... if the buyer pool kept up with the amount of items being listed, then it would be great. What?
Anissa said, the drug guy. She said drug lab. Can't think.
Joseph Mart says, guess I'm way behind. I don't know how to get an AI program. This
Just
stuff is coming.
Type it in.
Okay, Joe, very soon you'll know. You'll know. It's not...
Chat GP.
No. I'm talking about dedicated programs to do things that we're talking
yeah.
about. They will be out very, very soon.
Yeah.
Troy says, sales are down, but I'm listing the 80 to 90 hats to catch up. Then I'll list ties. But make sure that, you're willing to...
Make sure you're checking comps. And I don't just mean for prices. Like, do they sell?
Bear says, John, it's already in use. I do it all the time with ChatGPT, paid plan, one clean photo, and I get a full description, including the price range. Yes, but then I do the same thing. I tell you guys all about it. I then take the description, I copy, I paste it. I can actually go in and do a screenshot of item specifics. Hey, I don't know half the values here. Can you give me the values for that? I take that screenshot, I paste it, just asking it to fill it in. It'll give me a list of every item specific I need. Then I go in and copy and paste it into my real listing. But you're still doing manual work with that data. These programs are going to do it all for you. You're just going to upload photos, and then, boom, listings created. Add the price, maybe the shipping and dimensions, and maybe where you have it located.
Well, look
in
at
your
that.
SKU.
I just had a brilliant idea. If that happens, if that software comes to light, then I'll start listing.
Great. I mean, is that really the hang up? Okay, so you heard it here first. Big Al, nice to see you, Big Al.
This depends on how long this is gonna take, because my learning skills are, like many have said, I don't want to have to.
Oh, don't worry about it. AI is your buddy. If you forget anything that you're doing with this new process, just ask AI to help you with it. It'll tell you.
I will be asking Jonathan.
Big Al says, "Hey John, how's it hanging from Norn Irons?"
How's it hanging?
From Norn Irons. Say that.
Iron.
From Norn Iron. I can't. I'm not. I'm not. I am not the best.
Because he's saying from
From
Northern
Northern
Ireland.
Northern Ireland.
Northern
Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland.
It's like Nolans. Like Nolans. Nolans.
I can't do it.
Andy Reno says, Jenna, John is saying eBay's to become overflooded and everybody is just going to make a little money. Not everyone. Certain ones are going to make less. Certain ones are going to make more.
Yeah.
Who are you going to be? Samantha Hunter says, okay, I'm officially loopy. It looks like I thought you were holding the cat on your shirt in your hand. John, please. What? That would be just wrong. I'm not doing any of this today. Troy Hilmer, AI will make it easier to teach unbelieving spouses.
What was that supposed to mean? Troy?
Big Dre says, I mean, as a small reseller, I don't expect to make a lot of sales, nor do I rely on my sales to pay the bills. So for me, to quit eBay, I would have to go with a month of 0 sales. I'm not saying that's going to happen to people either. I'm not going to say your sales are going to be 0. You might want to find a job. That's not what I'm saying either. And I could see people right now typing that watch this video and are like, in the comments, you know, don't know what the hell you're talking about. eBay's not going anywhere. People aren't going to not get sales. eBay still, in my opinion, will divvy up the impressions. They can't force your buyers to buy, but they still will divvy up the impressions in such a way where everyone gets action. But if Joe Blow has just added 2,000 more items to their store, I'd like to think the way it works is they're going to get a little more action than they used to, and that's going to come out of the market share of action. If that makes sense. That makes sense? BasketNoodle says interactive search AI for consumers is going to be huge and drive consumers to protect refined and cause more race to the bottom like Amazon. Oh, I think there's going to be a race to the bottom for some categories.
Yeah.
The Gangland Legacy, if it causes a bunch of trash to be listed on eBay, will be forced to raise fees also. Well, what will happen is there's a reason why eBay shows us our conversion rate for our store. I think I'm a big believer that eBay just doesn't program, because everything you see on the screen on ebay.com, it has to be, a programmer has to get paid to put that up there. They have planned it out. So we want the site, we want the screen to look like this, and so we're going to pay the programmers to actually make sure the conversion rate is displayed. Why? If it doesn't mean anything, why would they put it up there? So any key information or KPI that you see that's up there when you're looking at your stats has some kind of a meaning. And I do believe that conversion rate is one of those that really, for your store, tells the story. And the higher you can get that conversion rate for your store, the better success you're going to have regardless of the size of the store. That's just what I've seen. I mean, I don't think I have the best conversion rate, but I have a pretty darn good one for what I sell. Peddling Profit says, we have a lot of inventory to last us for many years. We're using AI for photos. We're going back the old ways, selling at local auctions online. We'll sell higher, faster selling items, less work. And that could be the way you go. You know, it's there's a lot of people who have already left eBay because they can sell it for lower, quicker. I can get through 500 items in a week on whatnot because I'm choosing to lower my price, minimum of $2, let the buyer choose, you know, the demand. If you have multiple people that want it, it'll build up the price. And they make hundreds of dollars a night in selling a lot of items. They've got to do a little bit more work in the shipping, but it's a less listing and it's not as much of a headache for some. For some, this might push those people over there. Paul says, you can go broke, John. Work for me. LOL. I am not going to go broke, darn it. I'm not going broke. Big Al says, eBay are pushing out the smaller sellers as it's about income and profit for the shareholders. Yeah. Whatever that is, whatever makes more money for the shareholders, the experience for the buyer and the seller is now secondary. And sadly, I mean, I do remember a time where it was the buyer at least was the primary focus. Like, we want to deliver the best buying experience, and now they're secondary. And the seller's third. We're third place. We need to accept that. We need to keep bringing in buyers. Keith says, "Big, I'll be that was a big day with over 300 items packaged up." Yeah. I think you came out with a new video. I want to watch it. I haven't seen it yet, but I think you sold a lot of your items. That's pretty good. BasketNoodle says, "Right now I can do a search and find 50 of this item, and I don't want to look at 50. I want one like this. AI solved that." Oh, is that?
Yeah.
You want to go help?
No.
Okay. Because watch. We're watching our replacement mailman come and pick up our packages.
Is that the replacement?
I think it is. So he's left 2 boxes behind because he picked up the big bag.
But he looked at the tag, at the shipping
Yeah.
label.
So hopefully he's coming back.
I'm just making sure he's doing that.
So.
I
Well-
need you to fix the other camera.
Well, we have an issue with that. Our battery's like draining like in days on our
Yeah,
flood cam. So.
It's weird.
Karen says, "I do plan on building a larger shop and have a lot of inventory. I have to get more good items in my store." And that's the challenge. How do you build a store without bringing the quality down in your store? And I think some people might feel pressure just to list everything when that could be the worst thing that you can do. You could hurt your store's conversion rate if you do that. That's just my opinion, though. Time to Sell Collectibles says, "Computers present a tool for continuous process improvement. AI is new tool for continuous process improvement. Adapt to the new normal."
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So they did a good job, the
I'm happy
mailman.
now.
That means we can talk as long as we need to.
No, we
She wants to eat.
confused. I'm so hungry.
Biscuit Butts is my 2
What?
favorite. Hello, John and Jenna and FAA fam. Nice to see you.
Hello, Archie.
Yeah, awesome. Troy Elmer says, "I still haven't taken my focus off listing on eBay to list more furniture on Facebook." I mean, if that's where the money's coming,
Yeah,
do that.
what you got to do.
Big Al Wright, "It was the busiest day I've ever had. 350 parcels this morning. That's awesome." And then we have James, a Helfer Stay, says, "I'm only here for the brown leather chair."
Hey, you can't have my chair.
He no longer wants the Kobe shirt now that we figured out that it was a Kobe shirt. Biscuit Bus says, "Well, Mike Merck is one of my favorites too." Who's Mike Merck? Big Dre says, "I haven't sourced or listed this whole year and keep making sales. So once I get back to daily listing and weekly sourcing, I'll see a 50% boost in sales." There you go. Stay focused. Peddling Profit says, "We have multiple liquidation opportunities and places to source. Others come to us many times." Yeah, and that's the thing. Look for opportunities. So maybe your current opportunity and your sourcing method isn't going to cut it. Maybe you need to add more to it. Maybe you need to find ways to, like for instance, those of you like selling clothing. It's not an option I'll ever use, so I'll share it with you. Macy'sLiquidation.com. I think you can buy liquidation clothing, brand new clothing with tags from Macy'sLiquidation.com if you're willing to either go pick it up or have it shipped to you. That's not in my wheelhouse, so I'll share it with you. Peddling Profits. Okay, we just talked to them. Beamy gets it. BasketNoodle says he's concerned that AI listing will flood merch into eBay and in doing so water the site down. And my thought is in some or many categories. That's what I'm thinking. Biscuit Bus said, "This is gold. John diatribing Jenna."
No, it's not. I don't like to come on here and be looking like a idiot.
Levi Perkins, "When AI can find the stuff to buy, I'll be worried." And now that you said that, see, that gave me an idea that I had over the weekend. See, I do other things on the side. I help find merchandise for some businesses, and it's been somewhat of a grind at times to find things on my own. But there's ways that you can have your chat bot, whatever you prefer, your AI bot of choice, go in and search all over the web for things if you really want it to. So that technology is already out there. Henri Squaw says, "So in your opinion, what category should we all be steering away from now?" Well,
It's gonna be quite a few.
I think clothing is going to definitely be on there.
Clothing, shoes,
Things that
baseball cards, books.
I'm not smart enough to know the answer to that question.
Yeah, I just think.
I just think that maybe those are probably the key categories that come to mind. Categories that are already. Think of it in terms of categories that are already saturated and are somewhat easy to list.
Yes.
So like a baseball card. So a baseball card, front and back, okay, that's your photo. So I could take a stack of cards, just sit here, front and back, front and back. I'm just taking photos, front and back, front and back. And now I have this large list of photos in a folder, and I'm going to send it over to the program. It does all the work for you.
Yeah.
But like liquidation, you can't do that with liquidation. You got to go through the pallet. You got to inspect it. Is everything here? Does it work? Plug it in. Clean it. Put it back in the box. Of course, take your photos. Put it back in the box, and then list it. I mean, it's a different ball game altogether.
I think it's more of like the common oversaturated categories that are going to be, you're going to want to steer clear of. Unfortunately, you're going to have to become a more unique seller.
Well, James says with AI, everyone will be big sellers, and big sellers will be huge. But you can't be a big seller unless you have the merchandise. Mm-hmm. So if you are one of these people that are like, hey, I do the best that I can. I can pick up 20 items on a Saturday, and I'll list those, but that's all I'm able to find. Well, I don't care what AI you have, it can't create items for you to sell out of thin air. So those people are going to be left behind simply because, well, what can you make out of thin air? I guess you can make farts in a jar. You just got to find the jars. It's about being able to acquire the merchandise. So if you have the merchandise that you're sitting on, you're going to be in a way better position than someone who really has to go in and find the stuff every Saturday at a yard sale, or and you may not now find enough to keep up.
Yeah.
Let's see. Beamy says, John is concerned it will shrink the eBay seller community. Yeah, certainly. I don't want to see Beamy and them, decide, hey, we can't do this anymore. I don't want to see Pitco leave again. He left us once, and then he came back without any warning. He just came back one day and said, hey, I'm back here, guys. I don't want to see that. I hate it. I don't
like it either, but I mean, unfortunately, we didn't like to say goodbye to our friends at Amtrak. But that was not our choice.
But I'm just selfishly saying that, knowing that there's more to it than I'm just not selling anymore. See ya. Those people have real lives and are impacted in a real way.
I get that.
Where they have to make decisions on how to pay their bills and stuff. I think about that kind of stuff because we were there one time, a little over 2 years ago, trying to make this eBay thing work when it wasn't, and doing all the other things to make it work.
No, I get it. I see if that's when you use the word concerned, if that's what you're concerned
that's
about.
That's exactly what I'm concerned about.
Well, why didn't you just fucking say
It's going to change the layout of the way we see eBay. It's going to really... You're in a better place if you're going to have more items. That's what's going to happen.
I really want pizza.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I'm so hungry. You don't understand.
Well, there's people in China right now that are hungrier than you.
You know what? I really don't care.
BasketNoodle says he might be right, but that's not the problem. The problem will be the likes of Google and other engines locating product via AI for consumers. And really, it is what the problem is. It's the availability of inventory to be able to keep up as a reseller. You might be willing to keep up. You might be willing to do all the things, but if you're not able to get the merchandise to list in the quantity needed to keep up, then you're not going to be able to keep up. Keith says, well, Big Al, hopefully you're on a roll. It keeps rolling for you. I think you deserve it after the efforts you put in. Yeah, Big Al is a boss, and I think he's going to be able to succeed in whatever he wants to succeed in. BasketNoodle says, that makes sellers like us a quarter of the needle in a haystack versus a needle. Yes. And the visual I was going to do, and I just don't have it, is like you have two like really beautiful marbles, and you have like 100 other marbles that you have in a bowl, and then you go in and dump 1,000 other marbles in that bowl, and then say, okay, find your two marbles. It's going to be harder to locate your items because you're in a larger sea of listings, if that makes sense. Yeah. Gangland Legacy, 20% of all jobs in the U.S. gone, and you can't understand why he's concerned?
No. That wasn't...
I like Gangland Legacy.
That wasn't it. That's putting it in layman's terms, which is what I wanted him to do. He speaks in this big circle and doesn't get to the point, and he does that to me a lot.
But some people get me.
Some people may. Of course, I don't want to see people without jobs, and I don't want to see that for anybody. My compassion for others is far higher than most people, and I feel when somebody's out of a job or unable to work or has all these things. Yeah, I feel that more than I feel anything, most other things. I am concerned, but I'm not. The way he came in on this was, oh my God, I'm so concerned. Like, what?
I am
Is there
concerned. I am
fucking
concerned.
wave coming?
I am concerned.
But
It's
I
not-
feel like you made it this, oh my God, the world's ending. No, sir. It's, yes, we should all be concerned, but we should also be,
I got news for you.
the reality of life is the things around you are constantly evolving. I live by that.
I've got news for you. There's going to be resellers that we know are resellers right now that will not be resellers in 6 months.
I get
Okay.
it, and that makes me very sad, and
Okay.
I don't want that to happen, but unfortunately, I don't have that power.
And the thing is, I don't know how these changes are going to affect us, because the items that we pick up I don't think it's going to affect liquidation, but I have no way of knowing. I do see there's large companies that get truckloads of stuff in, similar to the stuff we sell. And are they going to be able to process those truckloads faster?
Yeah.
Maybe assign the same number of employees to each now do the AI to get these truckloads processed faster. What's that going to do to the stuff that we sell? So we're going to be competing against that. That's on the back of my mind as well. I'm not saying I'm immune to it. So in 6 months, I may not be here. So I don't know what this is going to look like. I can only give you a guess as to this is what it appears to be. But because she's been more involved in this live stream conversation than she ever has been in the history of this channel, we are literally over an hour behind in the comments. Just wanted to let you know that.
No, it's because I was confused. That's why.
Like BasketNoodle says, eBay's already losing market share. If it were not for promoted, they would be in a serious revenue decline.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Kelly wants me to put a poll out. I just don't know how to do it with. Maybe it's I need to get AI to tell me, how do I make a poll within.
That plus button.
Oh.
Start a Q&A, start a poll.
Oh, I got my own AI right
Hey,
here.
look at that.
But it's a little late in the program to do a poll.
I am smart.
You think it's a little late in the program to do a poll?
Kind of. I mean, we're gonna be ending any minute now.
Well, we're going to be going through these comments. What are you talking about?
What? I'm so hungry.
Is the upcoming
throw a tantrum.
the upcoming AI? I'm going to do a poll here. Is the upcoming AI tools? Well, hold on. Do this like I have some sense here. Do the upcoming AI listing technology concern you as a reseller? Okay, yes and no. Simple yes and no. There you go. There's your poll.
Where'd it go?
I don't know. It says this thing is weird anyway.
You need to go up. Oh!
Well, you're wigging me. I did. I said add poll. Did it not come up, guys?
No.
I just launched it.
Can
It's
you
not there anymore.
fix that?
Yeah, I can. So I just launched a poll, guys.
Start poll.
Okay, start poll.
Oh.
No, it
must
said that.
contain.
Yes or no? See? Okay.
Oh,
Start poll.
okay.
There you
There
go.
you go.
There we go. There we
Got
go.
it.
Sorry, guys. There's your poll.
Oh, you can't even spell.
What did I say?
Technology.
Yes, there's the
Technology.
technology. There's the technology.
Sound like Scott.
Does the technology concern you?
Stop it.
Denim Squirrel, if as a buyer I'm looking for a pair of earrings and instead of having a choice of 10 different pair, I suddenly have a choice of 1,000 pairs, the original 10 sellers are less likely to get my money. Thank you, Denim Squirrel.
Yes. Very well said. Good example.
Larry Way Out. Hi, John and Jenna. Wanted to do dinner in the 18th. I'm going to be in Vegas. Yes.
Yes.
Mark
Wait,
it down.
When's the 18th?
Travis in Dallas says, most of the time when I try to use sell similar from other people's listing, there's at least one error in the listing. That's why I don't use it anymore, and AI is learning from that. Yeah. You have to double check AI, and you have to double check your end item sell similar or your piggyback listings. I'm going to try to get to some new folks here. Glenn Cameron says it could be a whole different world, and as humans, we will adjust and conform to whatever, though it could be an ugly world like Mad Max could be a bumpy ride. Yeah? I agree. Gangland says...
It's been that way with every transition in time,
but
I feel.
It's a faster transition with AI, though. Gangland says, in a matter of months, we will be able to use single paragraph prompts to create full feature-length Hollywood quality films in a matter of minutes. You're right. And I cannot wait. I have already had, this is last year, I already had AI write a script for episode 10 of Star Wars, if it were to make a movie. And I only gave it one paragraph. I didn't tell, it did the whole thing based on the first 9 movies and where I kind of wanted it to go. And it came out great. I'm going to go down. Spam is talking to them. Bill Wilkinson, you haven't said anything wrong. Rad Relic, who cares what people think? Most people are unable to see past the nose in their face, John. Yeah, but I'm here to, I'm sure that happened in the days with Paul Revere. You know, when Paul was going down there with the torch and the British are coming, people are going, yeah, right. And they found out the hard way. Gretchen says, I guess people don't like hearing they have competition with AI, LOL. People don't like a lot of things that I say, so I'm used to it. James says, people being negative is a reflection of themselves. That has nothing to do with those talking. Normal people just pass and move on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's sad, though, that people have to go in and just, it's like they take the time. It's like their time isn't worth anything. If they don't like the channel, they're not only watching the content to get pissed off, they're leaving comments. It's like, don't you have something else better to do? I don't know. Karen says, I, for one, appreciate your opinion and feedback instead of some of the other channels that just present a bunch of fluff. You both keep it real. Well, thank you so much, Karen. We appreciate you. Yeah. Yes, and another example of why flipping ain't easy. We're going to go about 10 to 15 more minutes, okay? I'm going to catch up. I'm determined to catch up, and I'm going to.
I want to freaking eat.
Sherman says, you have to explain it to me like a 3-year-old. Yes. I don't know if I want AI to explain it to me like a 3-year-old. ER says, John, I saw your comment on text video. Thanks for speaking up. Prices will tank. Clothing prices go down more every year without AI involved. Yeah. I just think it's like fine wine, the concept of supply and demand, and I don't care how you spin it. There's people who are going to believe that spin and think, oh yeah, okay, AI is going to make supply and demand change. Well, the supply and demand ain't ever going to change. I don't care what the technology is. Yeah. Because the buyers aren't using technology to buy your items. They're the same buyers. They don't know what we're dealing with as sellers. They don't know the struggle that we're dealing with right now as sellers and what the struggle might look like in 2 to 3 months. They're just buyers. They're looking for a deal. And now as one other creator I talked to today on the phone on this topic said, well, it might create more buyers to the platform when word gets out that the prices are falling. But that just only further incentivizes or pushes the whole idea of the race to the bottom, right? Denim Squirrel says that there's less jobs, less people will have money, so less people will be buying those robot flip burgers, right?
Wait, what did Paul say?
John, don't get the action figures out. Keep the Star Wars stuff private. You remember that scene in Spaceballs?
No.
You don't remember that scene? Anybody remember that scene in Spaceballs where Dark Helmet was sitting there playing with his action figures and one of his lieutenants walks in and on him playing with his action figures and he's like, you got mad at him like for catching him playing with his action figures? It's pretty funny.
I didn't watch that movie. I'm too young.
James Helferstay says, let me explain AI. With AI will be totally AI and make AI life very AI to make sure AI your life.
James.
Yes. That almost sounded like BasketNoodle took over your account just now. Spam says, I should be listening more to John and not caught up in the reading chat. What is he saying about AI that's so upsetting? Big Al says, and you know, I keep thinking that's Big AI.
I love you, Spam.
Big Al, move with the times, dodge balls, and make sure you are ahead of the game when it comes to selling online. Yes. You don't want to be in that position where you just got passed up. Simple Beautiful, what do you think of eBay Live, Miss Jenna and John? I think it makes eBay look like a junkyard selling thing. I think it hurts our community. What do you think? I think if you look at the sheer number of people that are on some of these eBay Live listings, and you have to be invited, I think, to be able to sell there and have certain items. I think it's good, but I think that it would be better if they expanded it a little bit.
I really don't know exactly how I feel because I'm not into the whole live selling thing. I don't like watching it. I don't like I don't want to participate in it. Like, I don't want to do any of that. I mean, of course, if I have to, I'll do it, but as far as on eBay, I just say, why do those things if the regular selling is there? Like, keep it on Whatnot.
Well, it seems like we have 51 votes on, and of course, excuse my grammar because I'm sitting there trying to type while I'm talking to you guys. Does the upcoming AI listing technology concern you as a reseller? And right now it's 53% no. So good. I mean, we all have our reasons to be concerned. I mean, look, if you're just a seller out there, you have no presence on, like a YouTube channel for eBay. That's kind of where my concern comes from, is just knowing that there's many people that really are trying hard to make reselling work, and I just know how it affects them. I'm more in tune with that because I have a channel than if I didn't have a channel. But for me, I'm going to keep doing the things that I need to do to pivot and make it work. Let's see, skip a little bit. Donna Francisco says, resources notwithstanding, AI is eventually going to lower costs of manufacturing drastically, increasing demand overall for higher quality goods. My fear is will resell, diminish overall. Recycling diminishing. Glenn says it's going to come down to what you're selling and what you can find. Can you consistently find good items or have a source? And I think that's it. That's where you're going to win. And isn't that funny that that's the old adage? It's sourcing is where you win at this game, and that's where it's going to not only be the beginning of reselling is sourcing, but your continuation in reselling is also going to be sourcing. It's going to be the biggest factor that nobody ever talks about. Rad Relic says you'll have to sell on eBay, drive Uber, and deliver food. Maybe pick up a shift at the gas station.
Hell no.
No, I would go play poker professionally before I tried that. Gangland says, will be interesting to see who can afford eBay items when they only have so much coming in with universal income after no one has a job in the next 2 years. Yeah, stay tuned on that. Universal income. That's kind of crazy, huh? James says, with the glitch eBay website, the last 5 years, we all will be well seasoned in finding a way to make a change to work for yourself. We should be. We should all know. And so this conversation is no different. We just see a pothole coming in the road, and we're either going to ignore it and potentially drive over it and blow out our tires because we just ignored it, or we're going to steer around it and go the new path to our destination. Dave says AI plus asking questions. I don't know. I do that all the time. I get good results with it. I get better results than I would if I just winged it or looked it up on Google. Gretchen says, heck, you even show an AI picture of a top and it'll show you how to sew and give you a pattern for it. Already did it. Already it's there. A year ago, maybe not a year ago, but now it's there. Paul Rose says, but John, it'll only allow you to do that on your daily yard time out of the cubicle under robot guard. It's time to sell collectibles says, here I thought YouTube was used for teaching me everything. Now I need to be read like a fifth grader. Just work smarter, not harder. Yes. Andrew R says, fourth turning is here. I can't wait till mass majority is Waymo and Tesla taxis, not a bunch of driving around. I didn't want to say it, but yeah. I can't wait for the driving some of that Tesla driving technology is insane.
That scares me.
Gangland says we will reach singularity by 2030. Reselling won't matter. That's the sad thing. I don't want our reality to change like that. Troy Elmer says, I lost 1.5 days of listing because storm knocked down lots of trees and the power lines on my street.
Oh, wow.
Brando B says, I had a buyer message me about an item that wasn't sold, asking, can I return this? They had a 0 feedback. I smelled scam, so I ended the item. I told them I'm confused as it's not even been sold yet. I had one where they said, hey, you shipped this item to me without an arm on the chair.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, you bought that from someone else. And they just made a mistake. Denim Squirrel, no negativity on your part. You have great explanations. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Trying to catch up, but you guys are like way ahead, like 45 minutes ahead. But I'm still going to do my best here in a few minutes. Dave says AI equals Idiocracy, the movie. Go watch and learn more about the future of AI. I'm afraid to now. Andrew R says you have to remember robotics and AI is the future. With that, we all need jobs to build these and maintain a data centers. I love AI. I enjoy AI. I can't say I love it though. Skynet is here. Yep. Let's see. Go down here, get some new comments if I can before we go. I want to catch up to where you guys are at. Andrew R says, my money is never on hold. How you guys have holds new sellers, or eBay sees questionable activity on your account, or you could be not top rated, or I think it's below standard, and then they'll do that to you. Henri Squaw says, this is how it is going to happen from here on out. eBay will charge the fee whenever they want. As of January, the process to dispute those late charges has to be in writing. Ugh. Chai Charon says, I mentioned to my neighbor that I sell on eBay, and he gave me 40 vintage wood lures to sell, and so far I've sold 3 of them for $300.
Wow.
It's stuff that should be in a museum. And that's the kind of stuff
cool.
that I don't think AI is going to affect so much. Anissa's late, darn it, but she still made it.
But you made it, and that's all that counts.
Spam says QVC has been doing live selling since medieval times. Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
By the way, guys, hit the thumbs up button because Chai got $120 sale. Two sales for $120. So we tell you, hit the like button, get a sale within the next 24 hours. We put that positive energy out there for you guys. Russell says he's right. This has already happened in the book community. You can still sell a book every now and then, but it has never been the same since the mega sellers with the machine that processes hundreds. Yes. Yeah. And if you're not the one holding that machine, you are going to be up against it. And that's not to say you can't sell books, but it's going to be harder to do it. So there's markets out there that have already been flooded. Christopher Nutter, will a lot younger generation doing TikToks for living, and one other site for money for a job. I'm sure you guys know what site. LOL. Yeah.
OF.
Yeah. Only farts. Andy Reno says Josh is going to tell you. I don't know what Josh is going to tell me. I haven't seen Josh. Chai says, John and Jenna, don't forget to remind people that eBay app is different AI to edit photos versus the desktop version. Very awesome for clothing and super easy to use. Yeah. It does. It has a different AI to edit photo. I still use Photo Room because I just like it a lot better. It's within my flow. So, I thought Mr. Winky was the one I have no idea what Mr. Winky
really
is.
don't
I know
know.
they talk about him all the time.
I know it's a sound effect on their soundboard. That's all I know.
Sherman says, without everyday sales, you lose your motivation to list. You're right.
That is a fact.
You're right. And then people feel like eBay's dead, even though it's just slower, and then they leave the platform. Let's see. Gangland says, for vintage clothing and wares using ChatGPT does not speed my listing process at all. Currently, Google Lens, yes. ChatGPT, no. But you can go in and use certain ones like ChatGPT and Grok. You can upload that photo, and it'll find it better than Google Lens will. I promise you that. Paulo Rose says, John, I probably put in 60 comments, and that is the one you read out. Is my luck killer or what? Sorry, I'm doing my best to. We had a really good turnout today on the show, by the way.
Well, it's because
and real thing we forgot to do.
Oh,
is
snap!
Keith gave out Brandy and James Helferstay some memberships.
Well,
so
thank you so much, guys.
So you guys are going to be able to be with us on Wednesday. We're going to have our members only live Wednesday where we go in and talk about best practices, going in and pretty soon. I mean,
Wait, you're doing that this Wednesday?
Yeah, we'll do it this Wednesday. Is that a problem?
No.
I didn't get a chance to do it this last Wednesday, so I want to do it this Wednesday.
Okay.
Let's see. Duncan's confused about today's main topic. What was it about, John? I have no idea. I think we're talking about
Don't
Al.
ask me.
This is all about Al, not AI. Getting close to being done, but I'm trying to catch up here. Andrew R. So what if we don't have a McDonald's worker? I want to get my food from a robot like at Denny's now then. Ugly human with purple hair. Yeah. I don't care how I get my food as long as it's right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If I go do a special order at McDonald's and I want them no pickles, will the machines know no pickles? Is it programmed to be that sophisticated?
Oh.
Sherman Volkman says, maybe 20 or more years ago I didn't own a cell phone. Now I got computers, laptop, tablet, and went through that at more dozen cell phone upgrades.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
20 years ago, you'd have said, this is where we're at. I would say you're crazy.
Yeah.
See, I don't know how I got down
God.
there. I was way behind, huh?
Way.
Gretchen says, saw a video of Amazon drone dropping packages in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes, they do.
That was technology that was supposed to come out years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. They just, the concept was out there.
It's out there, but it's not as big as I think that they hoped it would be. Maybe it will be in the future, but for now, it's not as big as I think that they had hoped by now.
M is trading for better inventory. And Bear says, I guess that I'm lucky that I have my local company since 2011 selling used Japanese motorcycles, and weekend flea market makes more money than reselling online. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. If you have that secondary thing that you can go on and do. Did you get it?
Uh-huh.
All right, grasshopper. John Gaynor says, hi, Jenna and John. Old
Hello.
saying, if you know a geek, become his or her friend. They will be your boss one day.
One day.
Hoping AI becomes my best friend if I only knew his first name.
Yeah.
Well,
you can name him whatever you
I
want.
call mine Grok, but
Yeah.
people get mad because I use that one.
Who
Keith
cares?
says, has anyone noticed the closer end of show we get? John starts reading faster. I have to, because I've got a hungry person here. I'd be on for another hour.
Hungry.
Bob Newman says, I'm concerned about AI altering photographs of vintage items to make things look better than they really are. Deceptive for the buyer and causes more INAD returns for sellers. Almost like you're talking like a filter. Maybe it's putting the photos you have through like a filter, making it look better because eBay wants that sale, and they'd rather get the sale and hope the buyer accepts it than to not get the sale and click away. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Why would eBay ever do that?
Yeah.
I
don't
shareholders
know.
would
But
love
no, I don't eat beans, Andy. No beans.
John Rad Relic says there's only so much stuff out there. Everyone can't be huge sellers. That's the That's the thing. I mean, it's whoever finds more stuff will win.
Yep.
Is that the way it's going to be?
Yep.
Straight West says the hard part is finding the jar. That's the fart in the jar. He's got to order some jars, honey.
No. That is not.
We'll do a live stream where we're putting together a
Hell
product.
no. That's disgusting.
Bob says, I can see a future function on eBay called Enhance Photos with AI that cleans up photos and makes the products look better than they actually are. I remember when I used to sell the diamonds for my buddy Don. He went to the LA Diamond District. He'd like split up the parcels. I'd go to his house. He'd say, hey, list these diamonds on your account because I have so much I can't get it all done. So I would then go home and list them. But I had a different scanner. I had an HP scanner. He had a Lexmark scanner. His Lexmark scanner was the opposite. He had an HP, I had a Lexmark. My Lexmark scanner didn't show all the imperfections in the diamond because these are only eye clarity diamonds, and people were getting pissed. They're like, I didn't see that in the photos when they got them. They're full of carbon spots, and he'd have to he'd get them on the phone, and he usually it was a different game back then.
On the phone?
I'd have him call him. I'd give him his number when they complained, and he would call them and work out a deal to either have them send it back or he'd have them pay a little bit extra to get a better diamond. It would actually work out really well. That was in the old days. That was back in like 2005, 2006. Bob Newman says sellers may accidentally have enhanced photos with AI turned on and their items will be represented better than they are. Yeah, I can see the point there.
Yeah.
Gretchen says ChatGPT changes my photos when I tell it to remove my background. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes even doing a background removal will change the photo.
The coloring of
a bit. Paul says, "Why, John? What's your grandma done? Is she in trouble?" I don't have a grandma anymore.
No, it's because you use grandma as a...
Tyler, TRF says, "Yo, nice to see you." Got Mixed Mercantile says, "Hey, John and Jenna, checking in from California."
That's
awesome.
my tie.
And
Him
we
is in
got
Georgia.
Patricia NP says, "I'm using it to do titles, descriptions, and pricing suggestions. So far, I've had a steady 3 sales a day, which is a big jump for me." Yeah, if you adapt and do it right, you are going to see an increase. I can tell you that. Dave says 74 orders today, and it's 5 p.m. Summer speed up. That's awesome. That is really awesome.
What's with the cat shirt?
This is a tribute to my buddy Pete, Craigslist Hunter. That's his. Those are his pets.
Yeah.
Ruby and Honey.
Yeah. Hey, call me after the live.
Spending Sense says, "I want you to know I'm wearing headphones, and my husband looked at me weird when I said out loud, 'fart in a jar.' LOL." Well, I'm hopeful that he didn't go and find a jar to fart in, because you told him to fart in a jar. But you know what? If he does, make sure he seals the lid tightly. You can sell it. There's a market for it. Duncan says, "Do you want to eat a cicada burger?"
No, I want pizza, and I only want it from one place.
So here's the deal, guys. I know I skipped a lot of comments, but I kind of had to. I was going to get in trouble if I didn't. I tried to get to some of the folks that we didn't get to earlier. So hopefully I read your comment. If you at least commented once. If I didn't, I apologize. Do the best that I can. But hopefully this will give you guys some food for thought. I'm not trying to piss all over AI and say, avoid these programs. There's no avoiding it, guys. Either you're on board or you're not. And if you're not on board, it's like walking when everyone else is taking the bus. It's going to get there a lot faster than you. You'll still get there. You'll still make some sales. But we should no longer be walking on this interstate of AI. We need to be in a vehicle, find whatever that is, and get to our destination. But figuring all that out and how it's going to affect you versus the rest of the community is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. Want to see you guys on the members live. Click down below. We charge $2.99 a month. It's not a big deal, but it does weed out the serious people from the unserious people. So if you want to be a part of it, we'll do that at the same time, Wednesday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And until the next time, which is Fridays live, have a great rest of your day.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Chargebacks, returns, and lowball offers too. 0 takedowns, they're a pain, what can we do? High selling fees, bad buys, and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. With flipping ain't easy by your side. Sourcing great items is the key to success. Subscribe to the channel and stand above the rest. Focus on the thing that is within your control. Hang with flipping ain't easy. Let's roll. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast. Profit Playbook's the name. With Scott and Josh, flipping's more than a game. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast. Profit Playbook's the name. With Scott and Josh, the fitness more.